Hi there, how is everyone doing today? If you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Gailyn. I go by Chef Gailyn. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist and dietary health coach. And I also wrote a couple books that y'all are familiar with. This is Divinely Inspired Action, all about reprogramming your subconscious mind for a great purpose. And also the complete Kefir guide to health, weight loss, and beauty, which is all about cleansing out your gut system, okay? And then I'm also a coach on the Have It All program with Kelsey. So I just wanted to welcome you today and thank you so much for being here. Today we're actually going to be talking about visualization and the importance of visualizing and why it's so powerful and how to do it. So yesterday I talked a lot about setting goals, okay? And we went over all of my vision board information. I'm just going to show that again because I have a lot of them. So these are our vision boards, okay? So as you can see, it's so important to have visions, okay, and goals, all right, so that you can set goals, because if you don't have any goals, how are you able to get to where you're going if you don't even have the goal of where you're trying to go? And what I've also noticed too, when you do write down your goals and your vision and your vision boards, and then you take that time to visualize, sometimes what you thought you wanted really isn't what you wanted after all. Like once you actually write it down and you put it on paper, or you pull up a picture and then you start like thinking about it and manifesting it, you know, a lot of times it's like, you know what, I thought I wanted this, but actually I really don't. That's something that's not really on my heart like I always thought it was. You know what I mean? And I always think that that's really interesting, because there's been times in my life, as a lot of you all know, I've owned 4 restaurants and I'm involved in so many different businesses, okay, because I believe in many streams of income. And I'm also a brand ambassador for Savvy, which is a fitness line, which I absolutely love, and it's amazing, and I'm in the process of building a team, and they're like a ground floor business, and they've only been up and going for like a year and a half. But I think about them because everything starts with a vision. Okay, everything starts with a vision. One person having that vision. Okay, I know. What do you guys think about all these sparklies? I know some people get frustrated with me. They're like, these sparklies are like annoying me. And then other people are like, gosh, I love all these sparklies. They're like so much fun. Here, let me turn the notifications off on my computer so you all don't have to listen to those. Okay. So if you all are chiming in on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, I am so happy to have you here. And if y'all have any questions or concerns, and if you're on the replay, you can always message me. All of my contact information is underneath, okay? Okay, so when you set goals, so during the summertime, right, I was in Florida a lot because all my family's there, and I had summer reunions going on. I was doing a lot of work in Miami, and I had conventions and things like that. And we went to the NASA Center, right, where the rocket ships get like launched off into outer space. And that's actually the area that I grew up in, okay? Like only 30 minutes from NASA. So we grew up with like the whole astronaut scene and spaceships and the shuttle going off. And it's always been so amazing to me. And when I was there this past, I mean, like emotionally amazing. Because I'm like, when I have dreams, like I'm thinking I want to, you know, like I want to franchise out like my culinary Kefir products that are clean and organic, like that. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, like I get so excited about that. And then I go there and it's like they're showing these little sketches of like rocket ships, right? And there's like a panel, they're all like sitting around. Someone like just sketches this like rocket ship that they're going to send into outer space to like land on the moon, right? And they're all sitting around. They're like, so what do we call this thing that we're going to be like launching off into space with like someone in it? And they're like, oh, rocket ship. And it's just like, and then it like happens. I mean, it's so crazy how miraculous and how powerful our minds are. I mean, are you with me? It's like, it's just so, it's intense. I mean, so I'm saying that because the sky's the limit. You know what I mean? Like, you could be thinking, oh, I have this idea, I have this goal in mind, but how can I get it done? Like, because I know a lot of us are just trying to get up in the morning and just like get our day-to-day tasks done, like our to-do tasks, you know what I'm saying? And then we're like, okay, then we'll like add something else to it. And I get that a lot too. Like because you know, I'm kind of a beast out there, and I believe in many streams of income. So, and I love the companies that I work for. So I'm always proposing them to different people, and they're like, oh, I can't put anything else on my plate. But what you think about, you bring about. Right? I mean, what you put out is what you attract, and what you're seeking is seeking you. And I do understand that. I mean, I fully get that. I mean, there was a time in my life where I really wanted to take on another business, and I was like pregnant not to hear. I had a restaurant. I owned a restaurant, and I've always been a sole proprietor. So it's like I was owning the restaurant by myself. I was managing it. I was also the head chef in it. I just didn't have the employees strong enough to be able to help me with it. And then on top of that, I was like pregnant, and then I was also still doing all of my kefir, and then I was still teaching my courses on Divinely Inspired, and I was still catering and making wedding cakes, and I was also doing meal plans for several clients in several of the gyms in the local area. And someone approached me about taking on like another like side hustle with residual income, like an MLM, and I was like, let me think about that for a half a second. And I gave it a shot, and it just like, there's just a time and place for everything. So I totally do get that, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, if you do not have a goal, you can never even remotely attain what you're trying to get, where you're trying to go. Okay, so we were talking about that yesterday, right? So when we talk about visualizing what you want to manifest, okay, that was strategy 5, okay, in the goal setting category. But visualizing isn't just putting together your vision board. So, okay, so you get your vision board, okay, you put it together, okay, and then visualizing is imagining yourself actually in there, like feeling it. Like if you want to go on a vacation, like say you want to go like to Bali, okay, it's like, it's putting yourself there and having this non-negotiable that is where you're at, and knowing that you are worth the very best, okay, in getting rid of all limited beliefs like, who am I to go to Bali, or like, why am I, you know, just anything negative, because I know that a lot of us can kind of suffer with like self-doubt or the who am I situation and all of that, right? Okay, okay, so when you visualize what you want to manifest, sit quietly and comfortably in like a quiet environment. And I know, and I'm going to put it out there because it drives me nutso when people tell people like me to do that. And I'm like, okay, do you have children? Like, I have 3 and I have a toddler. Now, I do have, they're all in school now, so now I have no excuses. But when I did have them all home like this past year in the pandemic, I think God definitely graces us. Because that was a rough ride, right? But when you have that time where you can, okay, just get into a comfortable environment, listen to some relaxing music, okay, and I'm really into lighting my candles, putting some incense in the air, right? Like just kind of bring the whole environment together, right? And then what you do is you create a picture in a visual representation in your mind, and then you just kind of feel yourself there. And it feels really good because you feel like your endorphins going, and you're like, oh, this is amazing. Oh, I can't. And then it just becomes like, well, of course. And then it goes into your subconscious, and then all of a sudden you're effortlessly manifesting this into your day in and day out, and then it unfolds. I used to only do this on like kind of travel. Like I like, it's so funny. People always say that to me too. They're like, you manifest like trips all over the country, all over the world with your family. I mean, I do. I travel so much. I love it. It's a passion, and it's because since I'm so passionate about it, I just naturally am visualizing it. I'm like feeling it, and then it just effortlessly unfolds. It just feels so good. Okay. So, okay, so we're talking about like representing your goals. Okay, so start by thinking about your life as it is. Okay, now then visualize the ideal life that exactly how you want to be living it. Okay, I talked a lot about this yesterday too. Okay, so it's always good to get it like reiterated in your mind and like constantly think about this, because this is like something that we have to be reminded of daily, and reprogramming our mind and shifting those neurotransmitters in our heads that we have become so programmed to believe. Okay, so finances, thinking about how much money you actually have in your checking account. Okay, so just think about it. How much is my account? How much debt do I have? I mean, just get to the realist part of it, right? And now visualize how much money you want to help you achieve your abundance. Like how much you actually want, okay? And then see yourself as if you already have it, okay? This is so powerful, you know. Ask and you shall receive. Okay, so it doesn't matter what religion you're in. Okay, law of attraction is law of attraction. Okay, so if you're constantly focusing on the negative, all you'll see is negative. That's all you see. Okay, but then if you focus on the positive, all you see is the positive. And I think about this when I think about like the gardens, or like I always think about this when I think about like the sunflower fields. So when you look out at the sunflowers, you can either see the sunflowers, or you can see them like wilting because it's like, oh, the season's ending and look at, they're all dark. Or you can focus on the bumblebees that are like all over the flowers and it's like, oh, are they gonna sting me? Or you can just focus on the beauty of the flower. Do you know what I'm talking about? And I think of that in people too. Sometimes we become so conditioned to looking at just the negative in someone. And the more we look at the negative in someone, the more we become, that's all we see. That's all we're like focusing on. Okay? So it's really important to focus on the positive. Okay. So, all right. So we just talked about finances, career. Think about the career that you have as is. Okay. Now visualize your career as you want to manifest it, and see yourself as if you've already achieved this. And this was really important to me. I did this for every single restaurant. Every single restaurant. Like, I remember when I lived in North Dakota, okay, I actually turned 21 in North Dakota. Okay, we were in the military. I ended up getting married at 18, and you know, he joined the Air Force, and I was a military wife, and so I was going to the University of North Dakota because that's where we were stationed. Okay, and I remember I turned 21 in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and it is literally the least visited place from the ages of 19 to 24. And I was 21. There was like, when I say nothing to do. Anyway, my sister Ashley, miraculously, her husband joined the military as well, the Air Force. And so we both ended up in North Dakota, okay? And we're like besties. I mean, isn't that like insane? So we're in our 20s. She's only like a year and a half older than me. And we're like living the North Dakota life, right? Anyway, we used to frequent this coffee house, and it was called the Urban Stampede. Yes, the Urban Stampede. We loved it. The decor was amazing. We loved the coffee. We loved like everything about it. We would frequent this place like twice a week because that was all there was to do, right? Love this place. They'd have like poetry reading. This is when, you know, all of that was like really starting to come out, because this is like a solid 30 years ago, since I'm almost 50, right? Holy Moses. And they only had 8 Starbuckses at that time, 8 Starbuckses. And I was like, I'm going to learn how to roast coffee. And I knew I wanted to go in the culinary world, but I wasn't quite in there yet. And because I was only, you know, whatever, I moved out at 18. So I started in the medical field and kind of like jumped around, and then I found the culinary world. But I remember the first restaurant I opened when I was 22. I was in Dover, Delaware, and I remember this couple came into the restaurant, and they were like, oh, I could hear them talking, and they were like, oh my gosh, doesn't this place remind you of the Urban Stampede? And I'm like, the Urban Stampede? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, in Grand Forks, North Dakota? They're like, yeah. Like, how do you, that's like across, like, practically across the world. I mean, we're in Dover, Delaware, right? And, and, what I'm saying is, like, I would go to that Urban Stampede and I would manifest opening up a restaurant that had the same exact vibe and energy and look and feeling, and the people who came in would feel that same, essence. And it happened, okay? I mean, literally, people are showing up from Grand Forks, North Dakota, that have been in the same space, and they come to my space, and they're literally like, oh my gosh, I'm like, yeah, I used to live there. We would frequent the place. Like, I'm obsessed with, the Urban Stampede. And anyway, and that's what I created, because I manifest that. Like, I visualized like my clients coming in and my customers and them ordering, and them just having this like feeling of like warmth, and they just want to talk forever in there, and just like really artsy. And I don't know, I just, good memories, right? Good memories. So what I'm saying is, it's so important to visualize and put yourself there and have it unfold, because even in your subconscious, it starts coming to fruition without even knowing it. Okay. And I mean, I never actually surpassed Starbucks. I remember I opened up the Green Giraffe. I got certified in roasting. I was roasting my own coffees and things like that. I opened up the Green Giraffe Coffee House and Cafe in Dover, Delaware. That was my first restaurant. Favorite color, favorite animal. And there were literally only 8 Starbucks at that time. And I was like, I'm going to be bigger than Starbucks. And that didn't happen. So here I am all these years later. My path has like twisted and turned in so many crazy ways, but there's a reason for everything, right? So I just say set goals. Just set goals, right? Just set goals. Just go for it, But I have to say, if something does not unfold, then a lot of times it's literally, you think that that's what you want, but that's not what you want. You know what I mean? Like staying with just coffee beans was not my situation. Do you know what I'm saying? It was just a part of my cafes, but it didn't unfold like that, because I have such a heart for food. Like, my passion is like cooking, especially more like fine dining, clean eating, organic cooking. Like, that's where I shine. Okay. Okay. Career. Okay. Home. Okay, so we're talking about finances, career. Now we're on home. Think about your home, what it looks like inside and out, and where it is. Now visualize the home of your dreams, filling it with all details, okay? Or just different spaces in your home, okay? Walk through your home using your mind's eye. What size are they? What does the furniture look like? What are the colors of the walls painted? What kinds of paintings are hanging on the wall? Perhaps small pieces of Picasso or Renoir, or you can look outside. What is the landscape like? Does it look over the ocean? Does it look over the mountains? You know what I mean? So just catching a vibe of that. And even too, if you're in a space right now that's really uncomfortable for you, like you are in a relationship that you feel is very toxic and you need to get out of it, like for the safety of yourself and your children, or if you have a roommate and it's just not working out, or if the space that you're in is like, everything's like, there's bugs everywhere and the roof is leaking, and you're just like, and you're so far away from family and friends, you don't like it. So whatever it is, this is what I always say. When you visualize, it's not just visualizing the look, okay? As you can see, I do a lot of pink and white in my home, right? Not just the look, but feeling the vibe, like the energy. That's why I'm like such an advocate of Pinterest boards, because I say, go on that Pinterest board and catch that vibe and that energy, okay? I could go on and on about all these, okay? I'm just trying to keep my videos, because I can just talk to you guys, and I can just keep going, and I can keep just giving them my soul, you know what I mean? Because it's good stuff, and you all are very good about letting me know how this has really helped you throughout your days. You know what I'm saying? So I say, let's just keep going. Okay, car. Okay, think about the car you're driving. I mean, cars are a big deal. I mean, some people they're not that big of a deal to others. And I used to tell people, well, I'm not really a car person. Like, I don't really like if there's like some rock awesome car. I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. I'll be like, yeah, a little photo shoot. But there's nothing that goes on inside me where like some people are like, oh my gosh, this vehicle. But then I thought about it the other day, and just because like I drive like an older truck, like I love my truck. Like I'm obsessed with it. Like last night I had a bunch of people in my truck because I went to a concert, and I parked down there, and I could like pull, throw all the lawn chairs in there and everything. And so I was driving everyone back to their like cars or wherever they needed to go, houses. And I mean, even though something might not be like super fancy, you can still love it. You can love it the way it is because that's what you love. You know what I mean? So really that too, like just feeling the feeling of how you will feel when you sit in there and you just touch it and smell it and all that. You know what I mean? You've got all your family in there, like just the vibe, right? Okay, body. Think about your body and how it is now, okay, and visualize the body you desire to have, okay, if you're trying to change it up a little bit, okay, but you have to love yourself at where you're at, okay. So I'm not into body shaming. I'm really into everyone's so beautiful the way they are. I feel like there's a stigma, especially here in America, that you have to look a certain way, and that's not true, okay. So everyone has their favorites, and so sometimes people like feel like they want to be like taller, or they want to have like longer hair or brighter eyes or whatever it is, but at the end of the day, I believe strong bodies are best because strong is healthy, and healthy brings confidence, and that's just self-love, period. So I concentrate on being strong. So I lift weights almost every single day. I work out almost every single day because it just makes me feel good. Even if the scale isn't exactly where I want it to be, as long as I feel strong, then that is what matters. That's what's important, is that feeling of strength. Like I love that feeling. I love the feeling of like running and just like knowing that I can run. I'm strong. I can get down there. I can do my 40 push-ups. Like it's like I just love that feeling. Okay. Relationships. Think about, okay, this is I'm like really into this in my vision board, but think about the way you want to feel in a relationship. Like if you really love it, ladies, okay, I can just talk on I guess I can talk on both levels, because like, okay, so if you're like one of those guys and you love it when like a woman like scratches your head and like, she's like laying on you, and you know what I mean, like you just like to, however your vibe is in that, manifest that, like just feel it, you know what I'm saying? And you will get that in your relationship, and also too, like, do you want it to be fun? Do you guys want to laugh a lot together? Do you want it to be kind of like easy and the synergy? And I always say this too, it's better to be, what's the word? It's better than to be right. It's better to have a relationship than to be right. I feel like I'm saying that kind of incorrectly. But my point is we all have off days. We all have bad moments. And you can make a decision whether you're going to take offense and get annoyed, or you're going to just let it go and just connect with that person. You know what I mean? And just not make a big deal about it and not think the worst, or you know what I mean? I feel like that's very, very important in a relationship. So now take the time to visualize this relationship, and it's just very loving, and it's very supportive. It's very empowering. You feel stronger when you leave that person's presence than before, okay? And you should be giving that to them as well. And this is what I always say too, like, you need to become what you want. You need to become what you want. Do you know what I'm saying? So you have to be what you want that person to be, because that's what you're going to be attracting, okay? So I can speak professionally on this because I've been married for a few times and I've been through a lot of relationships, okay? So I feel like I'm almost at master level on getting this, on getting this. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I'm also not an advocate of like, that's great, you've been married for 50 how many years, and then you both like are on antidepressants and you want to kill each other and yourselves every day. Like, that's not healthy either. So I'm not an advocate for that. But you really have to, in relationships, decide what is worth fighting for and what you just have to just let go of. You know what I'm saying? I mean, life should be easy, fun, and real. It shouldn't be that hard. It really shouldn't. Okay, next one, personal growth. Think about how you are in your life right now, and now think about who you would be if you were like manifesting abundance, and how you would give that back. Okay, like whatever you've been blessed with, what would you give that? Like someone yesterday said on this podcast, like if you were given $50,000 right now, what would you do with it? You know, like what would you do with it? Would you invest it? Would you grow it? Would you save it? Would you, what would you do with it? You know, I'm an advocate of everything should just roll in and out and in and out. Like, it's, I mean, obviously it's good to have savings and like a level of like cushion for the fam, but at the end of the day, it's very important to be able to not just, I feel like a lot of times people walk in a place of fear, okay, and no matter how much is in their bank account, like I know multi-millionaires, several of them, and they are scared to death and they live in fear of just even letting anything go out of that, anything, because that's their identity, that's who they look at themselves as, and that's not a place to live either, because living in fear, no matter where you are in life, is not healthy, So living in a place of freedom, that's where you want to be, because when you're free, you can really be joyful from the inside out, instead of like constantly like, this is mine, like nobody take it, like, they're possessive, all that. It's like, just trust the process, let it go. There's enough for everyone. Trust me. All right. So I'm just going to go over those one more time on visualizing, okay? Finances, career, home, car, body, relationship, and personal growth. So if you all want to join, we're going to be doing a goal-setting visualization board class here in Wilmington, North Carolina. We're also going to be doing our Zoom, which we do every quarter. And also, too, if you're chiming in on YouTube, please go ahead and like and share. And I hope you all have just an amazing, amazing, amazing rest of the day. And really just hone in going into this next season. What do you, let yourself just let yourself let go and take the risk and just start from square one of just saying, these are my goals. These are my goals. All right. Love you guys.